Hey, this is Joshua PDS Equipment, and in this video I'll be talking about how to resolve a clogged suction wiper on a 6042 Mark II or a 6042 Mark IIe.
So, on a working machine, there will be an obvious amount of suction when you press down here. So this machine's in great order. If, when you go to your end-of-the-day maintenance, you notice this wiper is not sucking like this one is, then you'll know there's a clog. So, that suction nozzle empties into your wasting tank right here. And so to get to all the lines above the wasting tank, you need to take this cover off, which is just 3 screws. 1 here, and then 2 on the back. 2, 3. On a Mark IIe, it's a little simpler. There's only 2 screws. 1 here, and 1 back here. Okay, so on both the original Mark II and the Mark IIe, if you go to menu maintenance station carriage out, the pump should kick on and you can come and see if there's any issues. If the pump's not kicking on and you see a bunch of ink up in the tube and perhaps all over the pump, then most likely the pump is damaged and that's what needs to be replaced. Also on earlier versions of the original Mark II firmware, the pump did not kick on in this place, or in this situation, in which case you need to update the firmware. So, once here, the first thing to test if that pump is clearly running is to disconnect it from your wasting tank bottle, where you can check and make sure you're getting vacuum out of the pump. If you're hearing a sound similar to that, then we know, hey, our pump's working. I can feel the suction. I can hear the pump change pitch when I prevent air from being sucked into it. So, now we're going to move on. We know the pump's doing its job, so the next thing to do is to see if the bottle is keeping vacuum. On the Mark IIe, we also have this additional line, and I'm just going to use a pair of hemiostats to crimp that off. That way, if there is an issue with the air line here, that's not affecting my results of what I'm getting right here. So, this machine, which is in working order, I can once again hear the motor change pitch and feel the suction. If you're not feeling suction here, but you wore out of the pump, then what's most likely happening is your bottle's not all the way tight and you're losing vacuum there. If I uncrimp this line, which leads to the main wasting tank, and I lose suction then I know I'm losing vacuum somewhere. This leads to a discharge pump. So it's most likely the discharge pump if this is where the problem is. Okay, but if all of that was good, if the pump is good, if we know the bottle's getting sucked or keeping vacuum, and if we know that pump's keeping vacuum, the next thing to do is to plug this in and look to see if we're getting vacuum from the front of the machine. Done all of that and you're still not getting suction from the front, that likely means that the line from the suction nozzle to the bottle is clogged, and I'll show you how to flush that. I will say that on the Mark IIe with the 2 suction nozzles, you hear a little bit less suction than you do from the original Mark II, which only has the single nozzle. Now to do this, all you'll need is a Phillips head screwdriver to take 2 or 3 screws off to get one cover off. 07 flushing solution, a syringe, and then this adapter, which will allow you to push solution through the hose where the clog is. So all of these parts will be listed in the description of the video, but as long as you have a syringe that can fit inside of the hose, you'll be in good shape. Okay, so with that cover off, we're going to go to the front of the machine, pull the carriage out,
pull this wiper forward. And because we're gonna shoot ink out of the wiper and try to clear out any clog, of course solution's gonna go everywhere, so I'm gonna put this rag right on top of that.
So now we're at the back of the machine again. I have my syringe with a little bit of solution in it, in that connector, and I'm going to remove this black line. That is what goes to the suction wiper. Put in my syringe, and it's not a bad idea to have another person up at the front so they can see if the jettison's coming out, or if it's really clogged, then this is not going to clear the obstruction, and you'll have to replace that nozzle, which is not really an end user serviceable part. I'm just going to push some solution through. Now when I go to the front, I see that that's wet, which means solution got pushed through the line. If you just push a syringe full or so, maybe 2 syringe fulls of that 07 flushing solution, that should be plenty, and that should clear out any obstructions.